We've all been there.
In 1930, the Republican-controlled House of Representatives, in an effort to alleviate the effects of the, anyone? The Great Depression, passed the, anyone? The tariff bill, the Hawley-Smoot Tariff Act, which, anyone, raised or lowered? Raised tariffs in an effort to collect more revenue for the federal government. Did it work? Anyone? Anyone know the effects?
The traditional classroom, sitting in a group of other learners, probably in very uncomfortable desks, listening to a lecture that's meant to teach us something. Even if the sage on the stage is entertaining, or at least not speaking with that dreaded monotone voice, learners are simply passive observers to the imparting of knowledge. The teacher shares the content, students receive the content, students are tested to see if they understand the content. Sometimes a project or lab was added in at the end, hopes of proving that content can actually be applied. Problem-based learning, a constructivist learning strategy, takes an entirely different approach. First comes the problem, then comes the content. Problem-based learning is student-centered. Students learn through solving a problem and by reflecting upon the experience. Students do not passively receive the knowledge from a teacher. The teacher becomes a facilitator of the learning process, one of the many resources for the student to consult as they learn. Students are either presented with a problem to solve, or better yet, they arrive at a problem to solve on their own. The problem is ill-structured, has many answers, or may not even have an answer at all. The solution to the problem is not what matters as much as the journey to the solution. That's where the learning takes place. Students are not just observers of the problem. They immerse themselves in the problem and make a connection to the situation and the solution. As students discuss the problem in small groups and collaborate to propose and test possible solutions, they are able to build effective communication and leadership skills. This increased level of personal engagement and emotional investment in the solution places the knowledge gained in context and increases the likelihood for transfer of knowledge to future encounters in the real world.
We're preparing for the UN summit, just portraying it and how they actually do it in real life.
So you should say, can I have these folks come up?
And then do that.
And then we're going to go to Al Jazeera for our first live meeting.
These are hearings about who should control the Arctic and what should we do when this territory opens up. They're playing the role of countries and indigenous people, environmental groups, multinational organizations. This is a real-life problem that's playing out.
Not only is oil drilling extremely dangerous, but oil recovery is nearly impossible in ice. And this oil will not last for more than 3 years, according to studies in the U.S. Geological Survey. It's about standing up for our environment and families and our future, and I won't give up this fight. Thank you, Delegate. Do you understand that if I could have a trade route through the Arctic, my shipping to the U.S. would be cut 2 weeks shorter? So I'm sorry, I will not be supporting that.
I was the UN ambassador to China, so I was a big leader and I was totally into it. I feel like if this was to happen in real life, I could potentially change the world. And that's the kind of stuff I really like doing.
Even if there is a chance that what happened in the Gulf Coast, even if it wasn't by you guys, or what happened in Alaska from you guys, could happen into the Arctic, it could be devastating.
If everybody just suddenly decided to drop oil, regular people do not, like my parents and your parents, do not have the means to just stop and go buy an electric car.
Everyone's really pumped up and excited for it. And there's a lot of tension also because people are agreeing, disagreeing, but I think that's what's making it fun.
Problem-based learning is often confused with project-based learning, at least in that they share an acronym. Very simply put, project-based learning is focused on that final, authentic, real-world product, the production of a project. It usually takes a while and often involves the integration of many disciplines. Project-based learning is often found in a K-12 environment. Problem-based learning is an inquiry-based model that starts with a problem in mind. It generally takes less time to address than does the completion of a project. It's most often focused on one subject and is most often found in a post-secondary learning environment. Both PBLs are student-driven and provide the context for learning and developing problem-solving skills. Both methods demand higher-order thinking from students and collaborative approaches to meeting goals. Self-reflection is of the highest importance. The problem-based learning approach truly prepares learners to solve problems they will face upon graduation by actually solving problems, not by talking about solving problems. The exponentially growing pool of knowledge in our world today makes it unrealistic for learners to know everything they need to know to solve a problem. They must learn how to learn. They must learn how to find the answers. In a PBL environment, after a learner meets the problem, they list what they know and what they need to know. They conduct research to fill in their knowledge gaps and attempt to create possible solutions. Through collaboration and reflection, a viable solution is reached. The solution is shared with others and discussed and reflected upon. Problem-based learning is one of many constructivist approaches to education, one which not only prepares learners for the future, but actually gives them the experience facing the future head-on.